Basketball has given us some unforgettable moments. Stories of underdogs rising, dynasties falling, and games that define an era. But sometimes a team comes along that doesn't just win, they change the game entirely. That's exactly what happened on March 26, 2016, when Chino Hills stepped onto the court against De La Salle. It wasn't just another high school championship game. It was the night Chino Hills humbled De La Salle and etched their names into history. This was the game that put an exclamation mark on a perfect 35-0 season, securing their first ever state title and proving that their high-speed, high-scoring style of basketball was unstoppable. But how did we get here? What made this Chino Hills team so special? And why was this championship showdown against De La Salle the final stamp of dominance on an already legendary season? In this video, we're breaking it all down. The stars, the strategy, the notable games, and of course, the championship clash itself. We'll relive the moments that define this team, from their early season statement wins to their second half takeover in the state finals. So sit back, because we're diving deep into the night Chino Hills humbled De La Salle and changed high school basketball forever. The 2015 through 16 Chino Hills high school basketball team wasn't just a great team. They were a spectacle, an unstoppable force that dominated every game and redefined high school basketball. They didn't just beat teams, they humiliated them, running the floor at breakneck speed, launching deep threes, and throwing highlight-worthy alley-oops that had crowds on their feet. The Huskies were flashy, aggressive, and relentless, turning every game into a show. But beyond the highlights, they were a well-oiled machine, stacked with elite talent that knew how to play together and overwhelm opponents with skill, athleticism, and chemistry. At the heart of their explosive offense and suffocating defense was Lonzo Ball, the team's leader and floor general. He wasn't just a scorer, he was a playmaker, a defender, and the engine that made everything work. His elite court vision and ability to push the tempo made him a nightmare for defenses. He played with an NBA-level IQ, always finding open teammates, orchestrating the offense, and controlling the flow of the game. Then there was Lamello Ball, the team's primary scorer, a relentless shooter who torched defenders from anywhere on the court. Averaging 27.4 points per game, he had an elite scoring instinct, constantly moving without the ball, finding open looks, and knocking down shots at an incredible rate. Defenders couldn't sag off him, and if they played him too tight, he'd use his strength to bully his way inside and finish through contact. He had a defensive anchor in Onyeka Okongwu, a shot-blocking and rebounding force who gave the Huskies a much-needed physical presence in the paint. He averaged 7.9 points, 7.2 rebounds, and 3.1 blocks per game. But his impact went beyond numbers. He was the guy who shut down opposing bigs, altered shots, and made life miserable for anyone trying to score inside. Then there was Elijah Scott, the X factor of the team, a tough, versatile forward who could score, rebound, and defend. Scott was the glue guy who did whatever was needed to keep Chino Hills rolling. If they needed a big bucket, he was there. If they needed someone to lock in defensively, he stepped up. His intensity and versatility made him invaluable to the team's success. With this mix of talent, size, and speed, Chino Hills was unlike anything high school basketball had seen before. They played at a relentless pace, pushing the ball in transition, finding quick spots, and never letting teams catch their breath. Under head coach Steve Bake, they perfected their run-and-gun offense, applying full-court pressure, turning defense into offense, and suffocating opponents with their tempo. They weren't just winning games, they were putting on a show, making a statement with every highlight reel play. Their 35-0 record wasn't just about talent, it was about execution, discipline, and a system that fit their personnel perfectly. Their dominance was put to the test multiple times throughout the season, but every time they stepped on the court, they proved that they were simply on another level. At the City of Palms Classic in December 2015, they faced off against top-ranked Montverde Academy in a highly anticipated matchup. Many wondered if this would be the game where Chino Hills finally got exposed, but instead, they delivered a statement win. Lamello Ball erupted for 32 points, showing the nation just how deadly Chino Hills' offense was. They went on to win the tournament, cementing themselves as the most dangerous team in high school basketball. But they weren't done yet. At the Max Preps Holiday Classic, they dominated once again, taking home another title and proving they weren't just winning, they were taking over the high school basketball landscape. Then came the CIF Southern Section Open Division Final on March 5, 2016, against Sierra Canyon, a team stacked with future NBA talent. But none of that mattered. Lamello Ball put on a show, dropping 26 points, and Chino Hills ran through Sierra Canyon 105-83, securing their first section championship in dominant fashion. Every time they stepped on the court, they didn't just play. They imposed their will, crushing teams with their speed, skill, and unrelenting attack. And that led them to March 26, 2016, the CIF Open Division State Championship against De La Salle. This was it, the final test, a battle between Chino Hills' chaos and De La Salle's structure, a team built on speed, aggression, and firepower against a team built on discipline, patience, and execution. And for the first time in weeks, Chino Hills was in trouble. De La Salle had a perfect game plan. They slowed the pace, controlled possessions, and forced Chino Hills into a half-court battle, something the Huskies weren't used to. Their defensive intensity kept the game close, and at halftime, De La Salle led 30-28. For the first time in weeks, Chino Hills was being tested. But great teams adjust. And when Chino Hills came out of the locker room, they flipped the switch. Lonzo Ball took over. He led a 13-2 run in the third quarter that completely flipped the momentum. The Huskies cranked up their defensive pressure, forced turnovers, and turned defense into offense. De La Salle had no answers. By the time the third quarter ended, De La Salle had only managed 5 points, and Chino Hills was back in their element, running, gunning, and dominating. Lamello Ball finished with 18 points and 7 rebounds, proving why he was the team's primary scorer. Lonzo Ball nearly had a triple-double, racking up 15 points, 10 rebounds, 9 assists, and 5 steals. Lamello Ball chipped in with 14 points and 5 assists, showing maturity beyond his years. Elijah Scott dominated inside with 16 points and 8 rebounds, providing a crucial physical presence in the paint. When the final buzzer sounded, Chino Hills had crushed De La Salle 70-50, completing a perfect 35-0 season and securing the CIF Open Division State Championship. But highlight reels or box scores, it left a lasting imprint on the way basketball was played at every level. Their approach was a glimpse into the future of the sport, where players of all positions needed to be skilled ball handlers, shooters, and passers, and where fast break offense wasn't just a strategy, it was a necessity. Coaches, teams, and players took notice. The emphasis on pace and space, deep three-point shooting, and pushing the ball in transition would soon become a defining characteristic of modern basketball. Even at the college and professional levels, Chino Hills' influence could be seen in teams that embraced speed, small ball lineups, and multi-skilled players who could attack from anywhere on the court. And then there were the players themselves. They carried this legacy beyond high school. Lonzo Ball became an NBA lottery pick, landing with the Los Angeles Lakers as the second overall pick in 2017. His elite playmaking, defensive instincts, and ability to push the tempo reflected the same skills that had made him the heart of Chino Hills' historic run. Lamello Ball took it even further, becoming an NBA star and Rookie of the Year after taking an unconventional path to the league. His fearlessness, deep shooting range, and flashy play style embodied the spirit of the Huskies' high-flying offense. Onyeka Okongwu made it to the NBA as well, proving that his defensive dominance at Chino Hills was no fluke, while Elijah Scott made his mark in college basketball, continuing to display the versatility and toughness that had made him so valuable during their championship run. What Chino Hills accomplished in 2015 through 16 wasn't just about a single season, it was about starting a movement. Their legacy wasn't just etched into the record books, it was woven into the very fabric of the modern game. They didn't just win a championship, they changed the game forever. And that's the legacy of the 2015 through 16 Chino Hills Huskies, a team that didn't just dominate, but revolutionized the game. Their fast-paced, positionless, high-scoring style wasn't just fun to watch, it became the future of basketball. The way they ran the floor, launched deep threes, and played with relentless energy set the standard for what was to come.